So read through these questions one more time. Did you want us to say Maddie's ultimate rainbow disco eleganza questions? Because I'll do it.
Not necessarily, but you know what would be really hilarious because like gay agenda, like the myth of gay agenda.
I'm going to ask you that too, by the way.
I
was going to slip that in.
it. I love it. Anyway, it would be hilarious. Like I know licensing is a thing, but like if there's like some gay music that you have like licensing to, like doing that and like doing some like really crappy dub over, and it's like it's the Matti Gay Rainbow Explosion.
Telling Tim right now, find some gay music without licenses.
Yes. Oh my God. What would it even be? I don't even know. I think it would be hilarious. Like do that, and then it's like, just kidding. It's actually our show. You know, whatever. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Like segue. I added another 2 hours of work. I'm so sorry.
You had to. Oh no, it's okay.
We're not the ones that do the work.
Oh, okay. Well,
sorry, Tim.
This is the Always More podcast.
Hello and hello. It is June 29th, and welcome to the Always More podcast, where we believe there is always more room at the table for honest questions, meaningful conversations, and deeper understanding. Today on the pod, we are talking about Pride Month, gay pirates, a U-Haul full of white men, the brown note, interview with Matti, and so much more. But first, I am your host, Tim Lichty, and sitting across from me is my best friend in the entire world, Christopher Thomas Ford.
Yo, yo.
And sitting next to me is the best Gen Zer ever to exist, and that is Harley.
Woo! That's me.
Welcome, everyone. How are we doing today?
We're alive.
We're here.
We're
We're
here.
making it.
Yeah.
We're surviving. Sometimes that's all you can do.
You got
Chris
something
is-
you need to say?
Got a great shirt on today.
It's been a crazy day.
Oh, okay.
I love this shirt.
It's a great
new.
looking shirt.
Like I
It's
love
new.
it.
Thank
I'm
you.
obsessed.
It's got cherry blossoms all over it for those of you that aren't watching, and it is
So good.
beautiful.
I do like it.
It's quite dapper.
I'm not even sure what brand it is, but it has a Sun Tzu quote on it as well from Art of
Oh.
War.
It's shirt brand.
Shirt brand. Sure, yeah. It's a branded shirt.
A branded shirt. Guys, we have a great show for y'all today.
Yeah.
Really excited. So here's a little backstory. We wanted this episode to come out like on the last episode. That was the plan anyways, to be in the middle of the month. But scheduling got weird and things got crazy. And this almost didn't even happen coming out today.
Yeah.
Just crazy stuff happening all around us. But we got it. It's coming out June 29th. It's still Pride Month.
Is it
It's
June
a way to
29th?
wrap it up.
I thought it was June 30th.
No.
Oh,
Next Wednesday.
Are you sure?
Positive.
No,
That's where my
I'm
tattoo is.
awful at dates.
No, I wrote it down ahead of time, so I'm pretty sure I was looking at the right date. Chris, would you like to tell us how you're wrong?
Yeah, I'm very wrong. I'm wrong because on the 29th, it's Wednesday, and on the 30th is Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had to explain it full through so everyone else got it.
But we're excited to do it either way because we want to do an episode of but revolving around Pride Month and revolving around that culture and history a little bit, and we're excited to do it. So
Because we're hella supportive, yo.
yes.
Seriously.
Yeah. And so, Harley, happy Pride Month to you.
Thanks.
Chris and I, at least for me, I guess, we still identify as straight, but Harley, you are
Heteros, if you will.
yeah, hetero,
We're allies.
but we are allies.
Ally.
Speak, Valentina. Ally.
Oh man,
Yes.
has your Pride Month been good so far?
It's been really good.
Awesome.
Have you gotten any benefits out of it? Any like free stuff?
Of course not.
Have you gotten to the front of a line? Nobody's bought your Starbucks drink? Nothing?
No. Well, I don't go to Starbucks anyways, but
Fair
We are in
enough.
Texas.
Yeah,
though.
that's fair.
um,
Have you gotten to yell at Chick-fil-A employees?
close. Should have.
You should.
Should've.
Just go to
She had
Chick-fil-A
an
and yell
Pull
at
down the
them.
window.
Yeah.
And just yell at 'em.
Are you eating at Chick-fil-A? During Pride Month?
It was.
He's on a rampage.
We talk
It's
about
like my
this.
number one thing. Anytime
no,
somebody
no.
talks about Chick-fil-A, I'm like, during Pride Month? How dare
It was a moment
you?
of weakness. Okay, we talk about it later in the episode, but yeah, it was a moment of weakness after the water park. Okay, we didn't know where else. We didn't know where else to go.
Literally anywhere.
The red chicken was there.
The devil's chicken.
All right, guys, let's move along into our first segment of today, and that is Rec and Rev. This is the part of the show where we give you our recommendations and reviews of past week or whatever. It doesn't matter. But there's
Just
no
in
timeline.
general.
Yeah,
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
in general. You could have liked this thing 10 years ago, and you can bring it up if
And
you
you
really
know what?
want.
Because of that, sometimes we may Rec and Rev things that we've already Rec and Revved, and that's okay.
Is that what you're doing right now?
I don't know if I've Rec and Revved it. I should have if I didn't, because it's a great movie.
All right, Chris. Well, you go first. So you're on top of the list
Yeah.
here.
So mine is okay. Aside from being Pride Month, I also love Christmas movies. And I will watch a Christmas movie at least once per month.
No.
Yeah, no, for sure. 100%. I will watch
Chris.
at least one Christmas movie per month until Christmas. I love Christmas. But this one, during Pride Month, I chose was called Happiest Seasons. It is a story of a young woman with a plan to propose to her girlfriend while at her family's annual holiday party, which would be adorable and great. But when she gets there, she discovers that her partner has not come out to her family at all.
Oh.
Dilemma.
And it's not like a military story where like they met a week ago and she's gonna propose. Like they've been together for a
Right.
hot minute. So she's gonna go propose, and then she finds out that she hasn't come out, and hilarity ensues. You know, it's dramatic, it's funny, it's good. Like good things happen to the couple through the movie. It's not one of those like, oh, they finally came out and then one of them dies.
Yeah.
It's nothing like that. I know you're
it
tired
turned
of
out,
stories like that.
It's not even that. It's just like the reality of it is like it probably would not have turned out okay. Like I'm glad it did in the movie. It was a good, sweet thing.
It took a minute, but it all worked out. Obviously, for a movie's sake, they have to go through like, the main climax of the movie. There's got to be problems that get solved and all of that stuff. But it worked out in the end. This one starred Kristen Stewart, who did a phenomenal job. I know people crap on her a lot for Twilight. But
Well, we were talking about this off air, where she's actually pretty awesome. I
She's
watched
a
her
great
in
actress.
Spencer, and she was phenomenal in that.
Well, she was in something. Wasn't she in Charlie's Angels?
Charlie's Angels.
I didn't see that one.
That one was pretty good. American Ultra was pretty cool. I think it's called American Ultra. I don't know. It was with the guy from Zombieland, Jesse.
Marsh? No. I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. Whatever his name is. He also played Lex Luthor.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I can't
And
think
he
of his
was
name
in
either.
The Social Network.
Yeah.
He doesn't matter. Kristen Stewart was the star of the movie anyway.
What is his name though?
I don't know. Somebody look it up. We
gosh.
have computers.
I
and
need to know
phones.
because I can hear his voice in my head. He's talking to me,
Yes.
and I don't like it.
That's not a good voice to have. in your
No,
head.
it's not.
Anyways, stars Kristen Stewart,
Jesse
Dan
Eisenberg.
There we
Eisenberg, There
go.
it is.
Yeah.
Dan Levy, Mackenzie Davis, Allison Brie, and my favorite, Aubrey Plaza.
She's awesome.
She's just the best. All around, she's the best. But it was a good holiday, fun movie, and I enjoyed watching it.
Sweet.
Fun. Harley, what you got?
So mine is a book, and it's called Elemental. It's a novel in letters, and it's by Mark Dunn. So I actually heard about this book, like, I want to say, like, a year or two ago. Like, somebody told me about it, and I had it in, like, my Safari one of my pages to, like, purchase and whatnot and look into it. But I finally didn't get it until I was in a bookstore in Denton, and I saw it, like, on display, and I was like, ah, frick.
Don't you work in a library?
Christopher. Anyways.
You can get books literally anytime. Like, you could actually order the books to be put into the library, right?
I found it in this one, though. I realized that it was fate. Okay, it was a fated
It
moment.
was the universe speaking. That's
Yes.
what it was.
It's like, hey, Harley, you should have done this years ago.
It's been a long 2 years. Okay, thank you.
We've been through a lot.
Yes. But now was the time that my brain was finally ready to, I think, read this book. It's like this thick. It's not very thick at all. Like, I give it, how thick would you say this is? So the people
100
who,
pages?
yeah.
200
About
pages?
about six
about-
quarters worth.
Yeah, right. So like, it's so the
About
people who aren't
$1.50.
watching,
Huh?
It's about
Can have it.
$1.50 worth of quarters.
right.
Thick.
Yeah, maybe even
If you were-
75.
If you were to stack them.
Yeah. So yeah, anyways.
Americans will measure with anything but the metric system, bro. I'm telling you. This thing is 7 football fields long. It weighs as much as 20 elephants. Like, bro, just metrics. 1,000 kilograms. Like, just.
Yeah, of course not. Anyways, it's a pretty short book, but basically, I'm just going to read you what is it called? Synopsis, abstract, etc., whatever you want to call it. Elemental is a girl living happily on the fictional island of Nollop off the coast of South Carolina. Nollop was named after Nevin Nollop, author of the immortal phrase containing all the letters of the alphabet. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now Ella finds herself acting to save her friends, family, and fellow citizens from the encroaching totalitarianism of the island's council, which has banned the use of certain letters of the alphabet as they fall from a memorial statue of Nevin Nollop. As the letters progressively drop from the statue, they also disappear from the novel.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yes.
That's cool.
Interesting.
It's a very interesting book. It reaches a point, I don't want to spoil it completely, but it reaches a point to where it's basically using like, so like the way a word is pronunciated, I guess, that's how it's spelled now because of the lack of letters. Because they have so little letters that they're just like, so like the word you, Y-O-U is E-W-E. Like that's kind of like the vibe. Wow. It reaches that point.
I think that would destroy me mentally.
Oh, it hurted. It hurted real bad. There was like at least, because it's written in letters.
Yeah.
So each letter is like going to someone or like from someone to, you know, somebody else on the island.
Tape.
Yes. And so that it was just very good. It's really good, very short.
Now,
but
her
satisfying.
name is Ella, like E-L-L-A, Minnow, M-I-N-N-O-W, Pia, P-E-A.
Yeah, you said that. I was like, wait.
Elemental.
Yeah.
But Ella, Minnow, P.
Yeah.
It reminds me of,
that's relevant in the book as well, but you got to read it too.
It reminds me of, I can see where that's going. It reminds me of Cormac McCarthy's The Road. Have you guys ever read that one?
I didn't read it.
So the way it works is at the start of the book, everything is, you know, normal and like how things are written, like there's quotations and everything. But as you go further and further on, there's less and less like grammatics in it, and it's basically like there's no quotations, there's no like indenture or anything like that. It really just starts looking more and more bare, and it's a symbolization. It's a symbolization of the lack of civilization and just how things are deteriorating all around, and it kind of reminds me of that.
Oh, that sounds really good. Actually, I feel like my brain would have an aneurysm, but nonetheless,
I like that.
Yeah,
super cool. All right, my Rec and Rev for the week is a little show called Our Flag Means Death. It's on Apple TV, and it is quite hilarious. If you like Taika Waititi,
Which I do,
you will enjoy the show. It is not made by him, but he is in it. Here's the synopsis. Based on the true adventures of 18th century would-be pirate Stede Bonnet, played by Rhys Darby, after trading in the seemingly charmed life of gentleman for one of the swashbuckling buccaneer, Stede becomes captain of the pirate ship Revenge. Struggling to earn the respect of his potentially mutinous crew, Stede's fortunes change after a fateful run-in with the infamous Captain Blackbeard, played by Taika Waititi. Stede and crew attempt to get their ship together and survive life on the high seas.
Get their ship together. That's funny.
This is, look, long story short, in a nutshell, gay pirates. Just all over. Just gay pirates everywhere. Everyone's gay. Everyone's
gay.
It's basically it. And it's hilarious and beautiful and wonderful. And it's great because, and I don't know how to say this, it's just is what it is. Like, it's a great story that revolves around people who, we were discussing this earlier, pirates, they were likely gay. Like, come on.
Just a little bit.
You can't
they
be
dabble.
You can't be on the ocean for 2 years at a time and not see women and tell me that there wasn't some kind of interactions going on there.
Right.
You know, there were relations.
I mean, it was either that or
the manatee.
the manatees, yeah.
Oh.
Manatees, seals, dugongs. Hit.
So, the show is fantastic, though. I really enjoy the acting. There's some great actors in there. And so, Our Flag Means Death. It's really great.
Very good.
That one is actually next on my watch list.
You should. And I have it on the server, so you can watch it on there.
Okay. I mean, I also have Apple TV, so I can watch it there.
It's looking at you and your Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, I keep telling you, I have Apple TV Plus, and I'm not going to watch Ted Lasso.
Moving on. We have Harley's Hot Takes.
Yes.
What you got?
So basically, I it's about Pride Month, obviously. I get the importance of having Pride Month in June. Stonewall riots, very important. Whole, like, foundation for...
There's history.
Yeah.
Right.
I just personally think that May or like maybe even October it's just a little more gay. You know what I mean? Just a little more gay.
I understand October.
Yeah, right?
I get it.
Like, it just makes more sense. Like,
Spooky season.
yeah.
Well, they call Halloween gay Christmas.
Right.
So.
As it should be. And I don't know, I just feel like June, like beginning of summer, the gays really aren't trying to be outside, you know? We're just trying to like vibe. But I feel like May, because like the
Most
flowers.
gay people I know are more like indoorsy people.
Right.
That's exactly the people I've been following and saying. They're like a lot more introverted and just like, oh, cool. Like wave a little flag and
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like we're out at night, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like we're night goers. And I just, which makes sense for like October, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay. So yeah.
Night is even longer in October.
Yes. And
True story.
so yeah, I just think we could have done differently, but I don't oppose it. It's not the worst thing
Yeah.
ever.
Like,
Maybe we'll just have two. We'll just have like
If
two
you,
or three
if you had
Pride
to go,
months.
if you had to go again, you could,
Right.
right, yeah.
I think,
we
I
could've-
think 2 Pride months is a good idea.
You know,
I mean, why not?
Truthfully.
yeah.
Do one in June and then a separate one in October for the people that couldn't celebrate in June or just didn't want to.
It's too hot. It's too hot
you
for
could
parades.
have different festivities. You
Yeah,
could
like
theme each
June,
festivity.
June could be like indoor pride, like for the people that are still, in the closet. And then October can be outdoor pride for everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the introverts and the extroverts. Like each one's like its own little.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, pick a month this year. You got time. It's fine.
Like you would tell your job, like, hey, this year I'm taking June, but next year I'll do October since, we'll just do a cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your job will have to give you time off.
Yeah.
PTO, actually.
Yeah,
Paid
PTO.
time.
Yep, for sure. For sure.
Well, that's a fun hot take, Harley. Hot,
That was
Harley
a
had
whole lot. That was a
That
whole
was a
lot.
great hot take.
Harley hot takes. Say
Harley
that
hot
3
take.
times fast.
I can't, actually.
No.
I can't even say three times fast.
3.
Well,
Try it now.
three.
All right, moving on. It is time for.
What did I miss?
Yes, this is a part of the show where we like to present to you some news that you probably didn't hear about. I'm going to start this one off. A guinea pig is a slam dunk as she breaks the Guinness World Record for the most basketball slam dunks in 30 seconds by a guinea pig.
Was it 1?
No, it was more than that. Molly, who lives in Dumbovar, Hungary, with her owner Emma Mueller. Mueller. Well, it's got the little.
Mueller.
I don't know what those. The
Mueller.
2 dots on
The
top. are called.
umlaut.
Is that what it's
It
called?
makes it a meow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miola. She made 4 slam dunks in 30 seconds to claim her slam dunk record. Thank you very much. It wasn't just 1. According to her owner, though, she said that 4 wasn't even Molly's best result to date, claiming that she had gone up to 8 in 30 seconds.
Wow.
So, yeah, there you go.
Is this a guinea pig with a full-size basketball, or is it like a guinea
No.
pig-sized basketball?
They made her a little tiny little basketball that had like holes and stuff in it, so she could grab it with her teeth and like a little hoop, and she would just boop, did a little thing like that.
How do you train a guinea pig to do that?
I don't know. They're smartish.
I call fake. It's not even real basketball.
It's not even a real pig.
What a loser.
It's a guinea pig. It's
How
not even a
dare
real
you
pig.
insult Molly? Guinness wrote on its website, seeing this domestic cavy running around the interacting with her mom will surely bring a smile to your face, but it's also a reminder that these animals are active and full of energy and are not meant to live in a cage.
Yeah.
Molly has officially been inducted into the Guinness Book of World Records.
Right before they put her back in her cage.
No,
Yeah, but-
remember what we said about the last time with the
They're
Guinness
delicious.
Book? No, what? That's
the
not where
Guinness
I was
Book of
going.
World Records. I thought we were talking about guinea pigs.
Christopher.
South
mean-
Americans did it.
What I was going to say is they put anything in the book of
You're not
World
South
Records.
American. We've talked about this.
It's all the same. It's all the same.
Sorry, Harley. What were you saying?
I don't even think it's relevant at this point. What are you on right now, Chris?
This guy didn't even know where Honduras was or what
No,
continent it was.
I know exactly where it is.
You
I
know-
just didn't know that it wasn't South America.
For the longest time, because I thought you were just like joking around
It
or
was
something.
one of my
Like, wait a
knowledge
second.
gaps. Look,
You-
everybody has knowledge gaps. It's one of mine.
Geography?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
awful at geography.
He's geographically challenged.
Because I would say
Yeah.
Where's America?
I can read a map, but if you ask me like where this country is or what flag belongs to this country.
Well,
or
that's
any
different.
Of that stuff.
Flags is
I
not
can tell
geography.
you dates. I can tell you who was the ruler at what point in time, which empire started where, but I could not tell you where half the countries in the world are. Based on like the continent, like pointing to a map, I can say like, oh yeah, that's India. But if you say what
it's
continent
because it's
is
on
India,
the
I'm
map.
like, is that Asia or is that Africa? Like I don't know.
What?
The 7 continents?
I know which continents they are. Like I just don't know which countries are on what continent. You know what? I'm not explaining myself. I'm not explaining myself
Digging a
anymore.
deeper hole.
Chris, you're next.
All right. So for mine, it's a little bit positive, a little bit negative, but all surrounding Pride Month celebration. 31 members of a white nationalist group called the Patriot Front were arrested in Idaho on June 13th on suspicion of plotting to violently disrupt a Pride event, which is insane in and of itself.
Yeah.
They felt bold enough to do that. But then they were released on bail.
You got to be kidding me.
No. You know how white men get off of everything.
I bet you the bond
It probably
wasn't even that
high.
expect. Yeah.
I'm guessing it probably wasn't. The men, like, first of all, how do you let a what do you call it? An alleged domestic terrorist out on bail?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Like, that blows my mind.
It's the fact that they were going to violently disrupt it that gets me.
Now,
Oh, yeah.
now I'm assuming because I'm not saying that's the right thing, but it's all alleged. Like they hadn't done the act yet, so you can't.
But that's even like plotting to murder somebody. Like, oh,
Yeah, if you're plotting terrorism, whether they catch you or not.
right, but you have to
before
prove that
do it-
first.
well, if they have the continue.
Tim, it was a U-Haul truck full of
I'm not
Continue.
saying
White
I'm
men.
not saying I agree with the decision. I'm just saying that's probably the reasoning behind it.
Okay. Now I'm tracking. Gotcha. All right. Well, the men arrested on a Saturday after the U-Haul truck, rental truck they were riding in was pulled over, face misdemeanor charges of conspiracy to riot. That's probably what it is because it's not actually, they're not qualifying it as domestic terrorism.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Conspiracy to riot. Police officers seized from the truck, at least one smoke grenade, a collection of shields and shin guards, documents that included an operations plan, and other weapons. Whites, over the weekend, adding these items made their intentions clear. A local resident called the authorities about spotting the group of men all dressed alike with white gator-style masks and carrying shields, loading themselves into the truck like a little army. Police stopped the truck about 10 minutes after the call, a short distance away from the Pride in the Park event. The trial court administrator in Kootenai County, I think that's how you pronounce that, confirmed that the men bonded out of jail and will appear in court at a later date. Most of them came from other states, 11 different states, including Texas, Colorado, and Virginia. They weren't even from there. That's what gets me. Like, people travel for hate
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
for no reason. So since the arrest, the arresting officer and the others in the department have received death threats, which is insane because now people are threatening government officials with death
Yeah.
And that's
for
also
their hate.
illegal.
Yeah, very much so. The Patriot Front formed in the aftermath of 2017 White Nationalists Unite the Right rally. Remember when they were walking in
Yeah.
Charlottesville screaming about Jews? When it broke off from another extremist group, the Vanguard America, also crazy people, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, which tracks hate groups like this. So Saturday's Pride event, described by organizers as the largest ever in North Idaho, drew a crowd of several hundred people for festivities that included a talent show and drag queen dance hour. Could you imagine just being there, enjoying Pride Month, having a good old time, expressing yourself, and then if this did not get stopped, just a bunch of white people show up with shields and tell you can't do what you're doing? With no, like, legal recourse, by the way. They have no real reason to do that, no legality behind it.
Right.
Right.
This event was government sanctioned. It's not even like an illegal gathering.
Yeah.
It's insane to me.
No, it's just a trend. Unfortunately, it's a trend that keeps popping up of people leaving their places of residency to go incite hate, violence in other places.
Like January 6th.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like even if you were, and that was my whole thing when everything happened. It's like even if you did believe that his election was stolen, which it wasn't, but even if you did believe that, the fact that you're endorsing this kind of revolution, which it was, doesn't take a
failed treasonous revolution.
It is. They were there. They were not welcomed into the Capitol. It is an insurrection by definition.
Yep. Same way these people would have been committing domestic terrorism had they tried to stop this event and it got violent.
And this is what happens when you don't correct those things quickly and immediately.
Yeah.
It's the shit like this keeps happening.
Which is the good news about this story is that
Right.
a concerned citizen saw it, made a phone call. 10 minutes later, they were all arrested, and they will very likely face some serious charges.
Hopefully. Just the fact that they were let on bail, out on bail.
It's become such a big national thing that the courts in that area have no choice but to do something about it. Because if not, this whole system has failed and it's going to burn to the ground.
Where was this at again?
Idaho. So maybe not.
Maybe.
You know how Idaho is. It's where they make white people.
Well,
they make that everywhere. That's the first problem. I'm just kidding.
All right, but that's my...
That is good news, though. That at least it
yeah.
was stopped. There was no violence. And there was...
that's my bright side to it. They got caught.
Yeah.
Very good.
Harley, bring us into some positive, happier news.
Yes. Man goes to rescue one kitty and is ambushed by 12 more in a roadside meet cute.
I saw that.
On TikTok.
It was so freaking adorable.
No, it was probably the best thing I've ever seen. So a Louisiana man was surprised to find a stray kitten in the middle of the road, which... I don't know how common this is, but I'm not finding stray cats in the road, and I'm getting really mad about it. Getting really mad.
Why not me?
Why not me? But apparently the poor thing was weary and dirty and not shy about approaching him. So Robert Brantley picked up the gray striped kitten, where the author of the article says, an act which was, to quote Gandalf the White, the falling of small stones that begins an avalanche. Because a stampede of kittens soon came pattering out of the bushes. There were now a total of 12 kittens fighting for attention and probably sustenance. Brantley took all 12 kittens home for bath and food.
It's like that one was just a scout, and it's like, all right, he's cool. All right, let's go.
Yeah, that's
Make your
exactly
way.
what it was. They're like, all right, who's got the short straw?
Yeah.
Go sit out in the middle of the road and hope for the best.
Or like, if we lose one, we lose all. So you got to be the one. But the author of the article wants to note that even though this may not be the case here specifically, oftentimes people think that finding kittens and taking them home means that they're saving them. But more than likely, the mom has gone out to find food and stuff like that. So it's probably best to just wait around for as long as possible before just taking the kittens and running with them. Or just even searching the surrounding area for mama cat. But if not, take them. Take the kittens.
If you find no mother,
take
the kittens.
Become their mother. Happy Father's
You
Day.
are the mother now. Look at me. You are the mother now.
Oh man! All right. Well, that was our "What Did I Miss?" You got some wild stories. But we are moving along to an interview that I'm super excited to hear, and I'm really excited to just to check it out. It's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
So don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this quick message.
Welcome back to the Always More podcast, where the hosts have no idea what's going on and the math does not matter. Today we're doing an interview with a dear friend and confidant, Matt Lideker. Matty, Matthew, if I may.
You call me what you want as long as the check clears. It's good.
For the record, we're not paying you. Mostly because we're not getting
Well,
paid.
I'm out of here then. I was promised iced coffee. I brought my own. Okay, we can keep going.
You have iced coffee, so we're all fine. I actually would have stopped to get you some if you didn't say that you were already stopping.
Yeah.
So today we have Maddie's ultimate rainbow disco eleganza of questions.
Oh, wait. We have that.
We have that sound.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Wait.
It's too late.
No, it's not. No such thing. Oh, I didn't turn it up in
Do it
time.
again. Do it anyway.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
That one was a license-free sound.
I love it. It takes me right back to the cuckoo's nest.
I don't know
But
what that is.
that is a bar. It used to be. Was that the one that was Starlight?
No, it used to be a Caribbean bar on college, and not college, on Second
Oh, over
and
by Condor?
Veterans. No, Second and Veterans.
Which one is second?
The one that runs into Hallmark.
It's really sketchy.
It's super sketchy.
It's the bad side of town.
Well, I live over there, so.
But they have good rum.
Fair enough.
I feel like I know exactly what you're talking about, but it's fine.
Okay.
You know, I do remember it, actually.
Yeah.
It was by the Army surplus store.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I remember. Cool.
Oh.
Colleen things
Oh.
back in the day. All right. Well, like I
Back in the
said,
day.
we're going to go ahead and continue with our Pride Month episode. We're going to do a couple of interviews. This one is with our dear friend, Matti. So, Matti, first off, tell us, who are you?
I am a lover of pizza, chicken, tacos, iced coffee, and dogs.
Already
Yeah.
right there. Right
Like,
there.
yeah, I don't know if there's much else to say about me.
That's it. That's everything.
It encompasses you.
Yeah, just like to experience the things, and I usually have a lot of questions, and I try to listen because I usually will rant incorrectly. So that's me.
That seems
Very
like most
good.
people when they decide to rant. Much like
Yeah.
myself. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time,
Yeah.
which is fine. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you working on in life right now?
So right now I'm really focusing on self-care. So I am a therapist, and so it's hilarious. It's kind of the joke. In mental health, you get preached at about self-care like from day one. It's like, oh man, burnout is real. Self-care, 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 self-care. But mental health jobs just don't pay really well for a very long time until like you really get up in that thing. And so self-care costs a lot of money.
Right.
And so self-care was like, I'm going to shower and do laundry and I'm going to eat things.
Maybe take a nap.
Right. And so now, now it's like, oh man, I think I've been doing this wrong. I think I need to like figure out other kinds of
Now that I have
self-care.
a little bit of money, I can do something
Right.
for myself.
It's like, well, now that I'm not traumatized as
Right.
much, wow, let's figure this out.
Something that
So-
actually works.
Yeah, I've been focusing on that and like trying to read things and like try not to read like really traumatic stuff and like also write and then like writing things that I don't usually write about.
Right.
And so doing that and then like figuring out where I fit in the overabundance of Star Wars stuff and RuPaul's Drag Race because there's so much of both and I don't want to watch all of it for any of it.
And there's so much more Star Wars coming out. I don't know about RuPaul's Drag Race too much,
Oh my God,
but I know there's
much.
so much more Star Wars coming. So maybe you should just like focus on Drag Race now and then do Star Wars later.
It's a lot.
It's
A lot.
Because
It's
like right now
intense.
we've got Obi-Wan, we've got the movies that all recently came out, Bad Batch is coming out, Star Wars Visions just came out,
Lord. Have
Really?
mercy.
Andor, there's all kinds of stuff.
and then like you can go even deeper and watch the behind the scenes stuff and whatever. And for like the full effect, you have to talk to people who really know the lore. And then like, well, here's how they're like staying with the story and how they're getting away from it. And I'm like,
Too bad Tim's not here.
oh my God.
I was going to
there's-
say, I can do this with you if you want.
no,
If you want to take the time, it will be hours. We're not going to work today.
I'm practicing self-care, remember? So I'm good. I'm not trying to abuse myself.
Setting boundaries, that's good. That's one of those therapy terms that you use, I'm sure.
Right.
Setting boundaries.
Assertive communication. I'm good. On period.
There you go. On period.
On period.
Very good.
All right. Well, I guess so you're focusing on self-care, you're
Yeah.
a therapist, you said you were writing, you're looking at reading. What are some of your favorite authors?
Okay.
Just real
So-
quick, if you could.
Yeah. So I'll tell you two. I really like Rebecca Roanhorse. So I know that she's written other things. What I read of her, though, she has a sequel out right now called Feverish Star. And it's a sequel to Black Sun. And it's amazing. So the problem that I have when I read books, there's so much right now that's like dystopian, tribalism, magic. And it's like, oh my God, every book I pick up is like that, right?
Yeah.
So I started reading it. I'm like, oh God, I did it again. But
Another
like,
one.
Black Sun has the most amazing first 2 pages. Like,
Oh.
do yourself a favor, go to the store and just like pick it up and read the first 2 pages, and you're going to say all the extra words. You're going to buy it. And you're like, no, he's right. It is like kind of dystopian tribalism and magic, but it's great. And she's an indigenous person. And so,
sold.
Right. And so she's writing it from a different context. And so like I started to read something else that was like that, right? Like Children of Blood and Bone is great. The sequel sucks, but anyway, but like it was great because it's written from like this different cultural perspective. I read a Latinx kind of perspective one. And I was like, this is great. I'll get to it later, but I didn't finish it. So anyway, Rebecca Roanhorse, and then Lee Bardugo, which, oh my God, I really just like her a lot. And she's having a moment because her series is on Netflix. Shadow and Bone. What I like about her...
I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very well written. What I like is that she does inclusiveness without it being awkward. So she has people that are melanated in her stories, and she references them being melanated, but she doesn't do it in like this weird sexual way.
His
And it's
skin
like,
was the color of chocolate.
right. It's like, oh my, anyway, so she doesn't sexualize them and she doesn't objectify them. And then she has like LGBTQIA plus and whatever other acronym we have right now. She has that in there too. Same thing. It's not sexualized. When there's a kiss, it's like
It just
any
is
other
what it
kiss.
is.
Right.
Yeah. And you're like, this is a moment. And she sold me because like some of it is very action. It's very intricate, but like, you don't feel lost when you're reading it. You're just like, there's movement. I get the pacing of this. Character development and all those books are just super great. So I strongly recommend Lee Bardugo and then Rebecca Roanhorse. Those are my
good.
2 people right now.
Well, there's our Rec and Rev for Maddie for the day then.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of representation and things like that, so one of the big things I've noticed on TikTok, because somehow I ended up on lesbian TikTok.
Right.
Don't
of
ask
course.
me how.
As you should, though.
I feel like that way, right?
As you should.
That's just where everybody should end up at
Yeah.
some point. But one of the things I've noticed is a lot of LGBTQIA plus people are upset, way more upset than I've ever noticed. I don't know if it's just something that I'm just now noticing or if it's been a trend for a while. They're really upset about rainbow capitalism lately. So like stores like Target and The Gap putting out Pride merch, and like none of that money is going to any organization that's actually helping out LGBT people. How do you view rainbow capitalism?
So here's the thing. The pink dollar is powerful. It's always been powerful, but we just now have more representation. And so like we just now are starting to feel more comfortable, like really being out there at work and other places, even though there's still like greatly a lot of limitations for protection, right? Like you can be evicted for being LGBTQIA plus, and you're just like, what?
There's a lot of
What
new
do you
bills,
mean?
new bills being passed about things like that.
Well, and like it's anyway, so it's stupid, but. So you have a little bit more money, you have some upward mobility, and then so, money talks and bullshit walks. It's, an old saying, and it's just honest to God truth. They don't care about us, they care about our money. And so it's marketing, it's done well. I think it really gets into the thing of talking about the lack of culture, like true, honest to God culture within the gay community, because we were gutted by AIDS. And so, like, if you look at it, in the early 80s, you had an entire generation of people that died. And they died, like, horribly, right? And they died alone. They died ostracized. You had people that died and you didn't even know, like, what the heck happened to them. Well, those are our elders, right? Those are the people. I mean, they were, like, a lot of them were in their 20s or their 30s. So you take out millions of people that are in their 20s and 30s that were going to start businesses and start groups and start families and do all these different things, and they're gone. Well, that really like destabilized a lot of things. And we're just now at this place where we're really starting to have culture as it is with different pieces of it, like businesses, places to meet, etc.
Safe places and stuff
Safe
like
places. And so like when people start, that gets into a different conversation of like, what is gay culture and why people have issues with different pieces of it. And it's like, well, because all of our forefathers are dead.
Yeah.
You either lynched them or they died of AIDS. And then you lambasted them after they died. So, yeah, we don't have culture. And you won't let us freaking rent anything and you won't hire us. So we don't have any freaking money. So we go and do these other things. All that to be said, the rainbow capitalism crap thing, it's trash. Right? And like it really gets into, so you want my money, but you don't want to like actually represent me. You don't want to do anything for me. You don't want to like fight for me to have protections at work or protections at home or protections for healthcare or any of these other things. You just want my money. And so I think that we have this this duty to just even share that, right? It's kind of like the old knock on the door that we do with so many people in the community where it's like, hey, you shouldn't eat Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Right? And then they're like, but no, like you shouldn't. Here's why. But no, like for real. So like you're contributing to it. You're contributing to genocide. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like it
Even
gets
if
into
it's
that.
just like your little $8 a month.
Right.
But every person adds up.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. Here's another connection. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I'm going to tangent for
like
2
I said,
seconds.
if we need to, we can cut things in editing.
Okay. So, here he goes. Here's a hot take.
Oh, purr. Love to hear them.
Yes. So, like a few years ago, there really was just like this movement where very loudly people were saying like, hey, white people are racist. And white people were like, not me. And it's like, no, actually, yes. Right. And it's this conversation. And it's like, well, how? And it's like, you need to educate yourself because people of color are tired of educating you and being ignored and being maligned for educating you. And so like you teach people. Clearly, if you're listening and you're not watching, I'm very, very melanin deficient. I'm very pale. I'm almost ghostly. If you're watching this, I am not a ghost. I am real. But anyway.
Still the blackest man in the room right here. Yeah. All right.
But anyway, like, so, you teach people like, hey, here's how you're contributing to racism, right? Well, so for things like that, for the Chick-fil-A conversations, like, here's how you're contributing not only to homophobia, but, like, you're contributing to murder. You're contributing to lynching. Lynching is murder.
It's not just like, oh, this company doesn't like gay people. It's this company is actively donating to people that are killing gay people.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe not here in the States, but definitely outside of the other country.
Yeah,
and if you want to look into it, it may actually be here in the States, too.
I mean, that's a conversation. All tea, all shade, okay? But I always think it's hilarious when people are like, I'm affiliated with a specific political party. I'm like, friend, did you know that you are gay? Like, you gayer than RuPaul on a Saturday night after some drinks, honey. Like, you gay. And you associate with that political party?
Yeah.
Did you know that, like, if you go to that political party's website, and you look at what they believe in per them on their website,
they don't like you.
And it says so. It says that they don't believe in gay marriage. They only see marriage as a man and a woman, the end. Meanwhile, they got about 11 spouses they've been had, but let's not talk about that or the little...
It's fine as long as it's between a man and a woman and maybe another woman and maybe a different woman and then the same woman the first time and then back to another woman.
Right.
Or a trans sex worker in the stall next to you as long as nobody gets caught, right? And
they're not getting married, so it's not against the Bible.
Right. It's like, don't get me started. But anyway, all that to be said, I think that it really does come down to like what appears to be support. Right? So like I love your shirt, ally as fuck. I'm thick as fuck. That's what my shirt says.
I laughed when I saw your shirt. I was like, yeah.
Yes. Ow. Like mines, right? Like mines. But so like when you feel like you've been just kind of cast down, you're just floating, like you've been disenfranchised. which is an entire big thing, right? When you feel disenfranchised and something appears to support you, it's easy to really gravitate towards that, especially if you do have any kind of extra money. Oh man, let me go and buy this shirt because it's rainbow and it says what the hell ever it says, right? Oh man, yeah, they're down for it. It's like, actually all this money is going someplace. Big side note. This is exactly what it reminds me of. So I don't know if y'all have seen on TikTok, Twitter, and everything. Like this week, they're talking about, there's this meme of this elephant.
Yes. Yes.
So this elephant, oh, you're going to love this. So the meme that I really like was this elephant had its whole face, and it's a real elephant, had its whole face like through the window, and like the stove was right there. Big pots of something was cooking. And it had its trunk like in the pot and it was eating whatever it was cooking. And the meme said, hey, y'all know when that old woman's funeral is going to be, right? And so the story was that this elephant trampled this 70-year-old woman to death, some country in Africa. I don't know where, because I didn't want to accidentally see the video. I don't want to see somebody get trampled by an elephant. Call me crazy. But anyway, and people were like, dang, the hell happened? So the rest of the tea was, not only did the elephant trample her, let's pretend it was a Tuesday, trampled her on a Tuesday, the elephant showed up at the funeral and trampled that tail again.
Ripped her out of the coffin, like threw her around, trampled her again.
Like, for real?
Yes, yeah. Legit, like for real, like true story, hardcore facts. Get this. So, because people are like, yo, what's the tea? Like, why is
this elephant got beef? This old woman.
Because Sister Girl was working with the poachers. And she would distract the adults while the poachers got the kids. And so when I think of rainbow capitalism, I think of that old woman. All rainbow capitalism is a distraction so the poachers can gut our culture and get rid of our rights. Meanwhile, you're distracted by things that are beautiful and rainbow and make your ass look cute and are a good TikTok trend.
Yeah.
So things like Chick-fil-A, where it's like, man, this is delicious. Yeah, it's delicious. It's hate chicken. It is delicious. Get some pickle juice and make it your damn self, right?
We have discovered that Hat Creek is not only not anti-LGBT, but way more delicious than Chick-fil-A.
Is Hat Creek the one
The one in
that's
Temple.
on West
by Walmart.
Adams?
Yep. Over by our house.
Let me tell you, I tried. I was like, I don't remember what I ordered, but like I went over there. I was like, this is a front. Y'all,
It's a front for
y'all
something.
moving weight back there, right? Like,
It's an Austin company. The burgers are all right, but the chicken flasher sandwich is way better than the chicken Chick-fil-A sandwich.
they acted like they didn't know how to turn on nothing in there. I was like, y'all selling dope. That's all this is. How is your drive-through empty at this time of day? And here I come with my big old jiggly self trying to buy things. And, you know, I can't just order one thing. I'm like, I want this with a side of that and a milkshake and a this and a that. And they're like, I'm like, absolutely not. I'm going to Whataburger. Goodbye.
You may have just gotten the new kid.
I got the new team.
The
I
new
was like,
Whole new
what
store.
y'all doing
Fair
back
enough.
there? Anyway, that's
Anyway,
rainbow capitalism. It's a front.
And truthfully, I think that's why it's important to source where you're getting your things.
Right.
Like ever since Colin Kaepernick started kneeling, that's when I started really focusing on who is providing the things that I buy. So
Right.
I try to buy things from Black creators, Native creators, gay creators,
Yeah.
things like that, which is where I got this shirt, truthfully. So I think it's really cool that there is more awareness being brought to that because
Right.
it is such an issue of them gutting the community for whatever they want. Like, oh, you love elephants? I've got this elephant head on the wall that I'm selling. And people are like, ooh, elephant head. And they don't stop to think, like, that was an actual elephant
Right.
that somebody
Yo.
killed.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
so I think it's really important that is being pushed to the forefront of the community, basically.
You know, so the other thing that really goes right along with that is just because somebody is LGBTQIA plus, etc., doesn't mean that they automatically get a pass, right? So like there's creators out there where it's like, oh yeah, sure, you one of us. you also a racist or a jackass
Transphobic
or
half the
an
time.
ableist or
Candace Owens.
right, like all the things where you're just like, you don't get a pass. Like just because you're part of the community, quote unquote, doesn't mean that I'm gonna buy your stuff.
Yeah.
That's part of that sourcing thing. Like, who are you?
Yeah. I actually got into a debate the other day with a guy that could have been a customer, but, long story short, he wasn't. So afterwards, I got into this debate with him because he wanted to debate me. And one of the first things he said was, you really should listen to Candace Owens.
Absolutely not.
Which right off the bat, no. But secondly, like, you looked me in my brown face and told me I should listen to this other brown individual because they agree with you, knowing that I study this. Like, not only do I like to look into these things, but I live it every day. Like, I know what she's going to say, and I'm not about it.
Yeah, no thanks. I don't want to go to Uncle Tom's cabin. I'm good.
Yeah, like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Speaking of which, what do you think about these anti-trans bills and women's health care bills being proposed and passed?
Okay.
Are you worried at all? Kind of like if they come for me in the night, they can come for you in the morning type thing?
So it's multifaceted. I think it's a distraction on a lot of different fronts. So a lot of this is tied to religious stuff, or like at least like that's the boat that it's being carried in is like the boat of Christianity, right?
Christian
and it's
nationalism,
yeah. That's the full T. It's like anyway.
I don't know if you saw the sticker on my phone, but it says the T. So whenever you want to get into it, we'll get into it.
Some bonchinche.
We can meet up for tea.
I love it. So, part of this, though, is there's this weird thing happening, continuing, escalating within Christianity, right? And within conservatism, where it's like, it's not just what it used to be. Like, yeah, there used to be like a percentage of people that were kind of crazy and said crazy things and did crazy things. But now it's like there's more of them and they're organized and there's too many of them in power. And you're like, this is scary. So you kind of have this front where it's like, okay, so y'all are like singing and dancing, shucking, jiving for votes, and y'all are just going to do whatever it takes to get votes. So like you see it with, I know this is a podcast, but I'm not trying to get myself in trouble. So, they got that one person that's been saying lots of crazy stuff over the past 2, 3, 4 years. And it's like, it escalates.
Yeah.
And she be saying stuff just outlandish.
Off the wall.
And it's like the more outlandish that she says, the more hype people get. And so there is this thing of like, who's driving the bus, right? Like,
Yeah.
is how much of this is even based on like good, true research? And then I get into like the trans athlete stuff, which it pisses me off. Just full front, it pisses me off because it's just complete BS. Because all of the research shows that trans athletes that are actively transitioning and taking hormones have a disadvantage athletically.
Yeah.
They are losing muscle mass. It can be measured if you look at the times in all of their meets and races and, whatever the contest is, they are at a huge, steep disadvantage pre-transitioning, during transition, and then post-transition. But we want to come over here and say all this crazy stuff. They just introduced, I don't know if they passed it. I want to say it's in Michigan. I think that's where I saw this, where it's kids as young as 5 years old. I swear to God. So children starting at 5 years old, they want to be in a sport. All somebody has to do is say, I think that person is the other gender than what they're presenting.
Yeah, I saw that.
That child, as young as 5 years old, has to submit not only to an external exam, but to an internal exam of their genitalia. So I want you to think about a 5-year-old, right? A 5-year-old. We're teaching them about color, about shapes, about numbers and ABCs and sharing and things like that. We try to take them for like initial dental exams and to get their shots and things like that. And it's really difficult to do those things. Getting a little kid to go to get a haircut is difficult. Yeah. But we want a 5-year-old to submit to an external
sexual testing.
Yeah. Yes. And so
just because some parent doesn't like that their kid lost the ring toss.
Oh, now, but hold on. It gets better, right? So just even at like face value, it's like, this is like very invasive and stupid. And so if your child's team sucks, it's kids sports. It's like watching, somebody try to organize chickens. It's like, it's not good anyway. Your child is 5. Let them be a kid, whatever. Yeah. But if your child's team sucks and they suck and you have issues, with being a loser, because you are, then you might say, well, I know how we're going to do this. I'm going to go and put a complaint in that 1 or 2 or more of those kids are the opposite gender than what they're presenting.
Which is insane because at that age, they're literally all on the same team anyway.
Well, it's like, how do you tell the difference between a little boy and a little girl? Do they have a bow on? What color shirt do they have, right? It's like, at that age, it really does. It's hard, right? It's like, and you shouldn't be that worried about it.
Yeah.
It's like
what a child has.
Yeah, it is weird. It gets into a lot of other things. But so that's the initial, right? So right behind that, though, let's just be honest to God. Who do you think is going to be most impacted by this? Poor children of color, right? So you're going to have teams playing each other, and you can already see the Karen, I don't remember what you call the male Karens, but Chads, I think.
Chad.
Kyle or something.
Kyle's, Kevin's, whatever.
All of that stuff, yeah. But, it's like you can just see it happening, right?
100%.
It's like, oh my God, this is terrible.
They're already doing it to black people because of their hair.
Yes.
Like, just introducing the option of gender, like that's going to open a whole new can of worms.
Yeah. And so when I see all the trans stuff, the trans bills, the anti-trans bills, what I really hear is we want more control over how you identify, and we want to limit your voice. And I take it to Star Wars and to the meme that I saw where it's like, man, when I was like 15 or 20 or, something like that, and you're watching Star Wars for the umpteenth time, you're like, wait a second. So every time that the rebellion wins, somehow the empire just comes back and the entire culture reverts to fascism. I'm confused. Meanwhile, in 2022,
I'm like, you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Damn it.
I get it now.
It keeps happening.
In my own life.
In my own life with everything. It's like, I can't even get chicken without being scared that I'm supporting fascism.
Right. Oh, Jesus.
Come on, right?
Fascist chicken. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, since we're kind of on that topic, I guess this kind of applies. Like, are there any times where you, let me first ask, how long have you comfortably been like out?
Ooh, girl. Okay, so out to everybody is going to mess your life up. 10 years.
Okay.
That's it. 10 years. Comfortable with everybody. Comfortable with more people. Probably like 20 years. And then like comfortable with myself. Not much more than 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So because of that, and all of these like bills and things and like spaces right now, and even considering the fact that we're still developing like a culture of like queerness and like making that an acceptable thing, how often like do you still not feel safe being who you are fully?
Every Monday,
really?
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Are you kidding me? Like there's times. Okay, so I I don't know how far this audience reaches of yours.
I think we have 117 daily listeners.
But like they know that like we're located in Central Texas.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
they're
just
aware
about.
of where we are.
Okay, good. So there was a Pride thing. I think it's actually happening today.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it is happening today. There's 2 Pride things. One of them is in Kempner. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that-
honey.
I found out about that. That
No.
caught me off guard.
Yes.
Wow.
Like, I won't go to Kempner for work because I'm black.
Child.
Like, I can't imagine being brave enough to be queer in Kempner
Oh,
at a pride parade.
Look, and it's in the evening time. I'm like,
oh,
you want me to go to Kempner at dusk?
sundown?
I don't think I'm going to a sundown town to be gay, honey. I don't think so.
I was talking to somebody about Kempner a while back, and it is, so Colleen was founded, and then there was white flight to Cove. And then from Cove, there was another white flight to Kempner. That's where all of the racist, anti-LGBT people like went. And I'm not saying everybody there is in that group.
Just
but
historically, that's how it was
historically,
founded.
that's how it happened as a town. Yeah.
I would imagine that there was probably, this is a trip, there's probably some white flight from Lampasas also, which is difficult to think because Lampasas isn't that far removed from
Right.
like doing
Yeah.
some really weird stuff, right? Like actively having their football team fight another football team because they lost or because the other football team is black. It's like, wait, no, like you honestly did that in this century? You might
that
get
was
your
a
life.
couple of years ago.
In this economy.
Look, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a couple months ago.
That was Tuesday.
Let's be honest,
It's not even football season.
right? My friend told me about the Pride thing. They called to tell me about it. I was like, absolutely not. I'm not going to that. Why not? They got too many strong trees. What you mean?
Too many strong trees, bro.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm not going to that. But so, I think of there's even pieces to this, right? So like, I don't feel comfortable, even like within the gay community. There's a lot of things that we have to address, and this goes back to like the cultural kind of stuff, where
Right.
it's like we need to continue developing our culture. So we have a lot of body shaming stuff in our culture. We have a lot of I don't know how to say it. There's a lot. There's misogyny.
yeah.
But there's also just a lot of like
There's even like,
worshiping of masculinity or perceived masculinity. What were you gonna say?
just even between like, I guess if you want to call them just like labels and things like that,
Yes.
like transphobia or like biphobia is like a big thing, or like invalidating people's sexualities because they are with a certain gender, and then a couple years down the road they're with a different gender, and people are like, oh, but you said this, that, and the other a
don't
couple
know.
years ago.
I don't know if you know who Bob the Drag Queen is, but I hope you do.
Oh no, I need to educate myself.
Bob the Drag Queen
I have
is
no idea.
neither of you.
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
You are going to love your life as soon as you YouTube this. But anyway, so Bob the Drag Queen is from New York City. I don't know what part, but he's from New York City. And he's probably about 6 foot tall. He's not real tiny. He's deeply
Oh, I do know about Bob the
Yeah.
Bob the Drag Queen.
deeply melanated. He has kind of a typical, I don't know if that's the right word, masculine voice, right? He doesn't try to like fem his voice up when he does drag. He doesn't really do like a full beat. Like he does the things. He puts on a dress, he tucks.
Right.
Boom, there you go. Anyway, so he has a great podcast, great YouTube show and everything. And he talks about like his sexuality and how he defines it and everything. And he says, yeah, I remember watching, he said, yeah, I would have sex with a person that has a vagina. And I was like, that's such a fascinating like phrase, a person who has a vagina. And so when we start talking about transphobia, a friend of mine who is part of the community said that they were worried about going to a gay bar and having beverages with some of the younger people in the community because they were worried that they were going to be perceived as being transphobic because they didn't want to misidentify somebody or use the wrong pronoun. And so I told them, because this is very common, I was like, this is communication. Like, this is communication 101, right? Like, hey, what would you like me to call you?
Yeah.
Like, right? Yeah. And forgive me if I mess up, as we're having beverages, I don't mean offense by it, but, by all means, what are the boundaries? What do I need to do? Whatever. And so it gets interesting when you have limited spaces trying to identify, like, what those safe spaces are for each piece of the community and how they fit together. And especially with a historical understanding that a lot of the community has been forged by people of color, specifically by trans people of color. And yet this is still the place that they don't have any place, and they get ostracized the most. And it's the reason that we have gay rights is because a Black trans woman threw a brick and said, I am not hiding.
Yeah. Right?
And it's like, but here we are today, and it's still like, let's worship white, masculine, thin men. It's like, wait a second. This hasn't worked for us as a country, and it hasn't worked for us as a community. Maybe we need to just, like, let this die. Like,
let's try something else.
Yeah, like, hey.
Like anything else.
Yeah.
Anything else.
Anything.
Right. It's weird. So I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe anywhere, and being super open, even within my own community. Yeah.
I get that. I definitely get that. It just feels like there's always room for, like, misinterpretation or, like, somebody who's just not willing to, like, get it.
It's usually the people that aren't willing to get it that are the biggest threat.
Yeah.
Like, if you misgender somebody on accident,
like,
obviously
it is what it is.
It can be a problem, but it is what it is. But the people that are like, oh, you have a penis, you're a man. Like, that's game over. I'm refusing to call you by anything else. Those are the problematic people.
Yeah.
So there's two thoughts to this, right? So I think it's always interesting when people strongly come out against something, right? Like,
it's very telling.
The people
very telling, in my opinion.
The people who are, like, usually screaming and shouting about "thou shalt not buy from Amazon" usually have a hell of a lot of cardboard in their garage, right? And it's like, hey, yeah, we shouldn't buy from Amazon. So why do you have an entire forest in your garage there, huh? And so, the other piece of it is, you don't need to know what I want on my pizza unless you're going to eat it.
Like, why does it interest you so much what's in my pants?
No, but actually, and I think that's what the biggest problem for me with all the gender stuff is like, whatever I choose to identify with, why does it concern you?
Come on.
Why does it concern you? Just deal with it. Like, it is what it is.
That's my favorite thing. Like, when people ask me if I'm gay, like, are you gay? Why, are you interested?
Right. Right.
Well, no. Don't worry about it then.
Because they want to know how they can objectify you.
Yeah. They want to put somebody in a box because that's what the mind wants to do. And if your boxes aren't the same as their boxes, they get upset for some reason. Even though your boxes stay in your house and their boxes stay in their house, and neither of those boxes have anything to do with each other, they want to know about your boxes.
I was having a conversation about this the other day about heterosexual men being super worked up about female presenting people being assigned male at birth. I think I said that the right way. Maybe.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I tracked.
Thank you. Everybody else at home is like, I don't know what you talking about.
Let me run that back.
And they're like, I don't get it. And it's like, Well, because they know how to objectify women and they perceive that they have more power over women and they know how to sexualize women. And so they're worried if they start sexualizing and objectifying these trans women, what that means for their own identity.
Yeah.
Because then they perceive themselves to have a disadvantage and have less power because they identify queer people as having less power.
Yep.
And so all of this just kind of goes back to that, where it's like, why don't we just have some equity? Like you can like what you like and whatever. And also you shouldn't be like catcalling people and sexually harassing
I saw a
people.
TikTok
Just
about
regardless.
that. It was men don't like being around gay men because they're scared of being treated the way that they treat women.
Come on.
Yeah.
Heterosexual men understand consent the minute that they go to
gay
prison.
person hits on them or the minute they go to prison.
They're like, I understand consent very well now. And it's like, oh, it took that.
Right. But you couldn't get it beforehand. Jeez. Oh my God.
No, they really couldn't get it beforehand. That was the whole point.
Oh. And then half the time they come out like 5 years later.
Honey, that is the full tea, right?
It's like, that's, let's get into that.
Yes,
The
do
like
it.
stereotype of, so this is going to get into your little stereotypes you love and hate. But like that stereotype of like the jock who would always bully like the other gay male in his class, and then they graduate.
Scary movie.
No, every movie at this rate.
I mean, there was like a scene where the guy was like he was dating this girl named Brenda, but he was in love with his teammate Brandon. So like they were about to get crazy, and he was like, "Yeah, take it, Brandon, take it." And she was like, "Brandon." He's like, "I mean Brenda."
Yes.
No, but actually, in when it comes to that stereotype for me, I think of Glee.
Yeah.
Which that is a whole show and a half. We're not even going to get into that today.
I never watched it.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Not against it, just never had the desire to watch it. That's all.
I've seen some YouTube clips.
You've never watched it?
No.
You're better off. Anyways.
See?
But like, and then a couple years later down the road, they graduate and and then they come out. And it's like, all because you were afraid of your own feelings, if you will.
Is it that they're scared of their feelings, or are we again addressing the power structures, right? And so, like,
to me, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what? I completely forgot this. I'm gonna retrack and tie this into rainbow commercialism. I think the other piece of all of this is our lack of identity. And so, like, if I ask you, well, who are you? Like, we did that, at the beginning of this, like, who am I, right? And, like, a lot of times, it's very hard for people to identify who they are. We don't have a personality. We have brands, right? Well, I'm an iPhone user, or I'm an Android user, or I like this comic book, or whatever it is. And it's like, cool. Like, instead of saying, hey, I really like technology and I'm into comics, like, we lead with brands. And so, like, we go into power structures and you have things like religion, right? And so it's not just, well, this is what I believe, but we lead with, quote unquote, the brand. Like, this is not only the denomination that I belong to, but this is the church that I go to, right? The branding. The high school, the political party, the this, the that, the other. And it's the branding. And the hope is, the reason that branding and marketing is so powerful is because you're conveying messaging and emotion in a very small manner, right? So, like, a really great logo is going to convey meaning to you,
right?
Like within 0.5 seconds or something, right? It has to evoke emotion and make you say, yes, I need to go and do the things and buy the things I need, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, that's what we lead with. And so if that's unsteady, and we already, as a nation, have really terrible connection within the family unit. We don't really have a way to connect with people outside of these branding kind of things. If any of that is at risk, then I'm in danger. And so a lot of times you see people come out after high school because they're no longer under the branding that their family is presenting. They're an iPhone family, but so to speak. And then, they graduate high school, they move out, and they start to understand, oh man, here's all the things I actually believe. I identify more with this. And that allows them to create that space where they say, no, actually, right? And it, in some ways, this is a very imperfect comparison. So don't at me because you're going to get read to filth. But anyway, it's similar. It's not the same, but it's similar.
It rhymes, if you will.
Right. I wouldn't even go that far.
Oh,
but
just
it's similar to what happens when people escape a domestic abuse relationship, right? Where it's like you have to first create resources and create some place to go before you can escape, right? Like you don't just escape.
You have to have a plan.
Yeah, you have to have something. Like, where the hell am I going to go? What am I going to do? So on and so forth. And if there's kids, then it's even, more so. And so, yeah, I have a lot of compassion, a lot of contextualized compassion. Like, there's compassion with, how do you call that? Like, when I hold you to something, responsibility, right? Where it's like, that's cool. You can come out in college. You can come out in your 60s. You can come out on your deathbed. You can do any and all of those things. You're still going to be held responsible for stuff that you did or did not do, right? Like, were you actively against this? Were you working against everything? Or like, what was happening? But there is that compassion, right? Because there's a lot of it. I feel so bad for people that I meet that, they're in their 30s or in their 40s or older. I actually have a friend that came out in his 50s, I think, and has several kids. He waited till they were grown, and he and his wife got a divorce. And I think they at least speak. I don't know all that tea because I don't be asking them all them personal questions. But I feel bad for everybody involved because as the wife, if you're under this context that, this man loves me, we're going to get married, this is the life that we're going to have, and you think everything is hunky-dory, you're doing the things, whatever, and then the kids, you're just cruising along, trying to figure stuff out, and as a kid, you pick up the vibes, right? Like, nobody tells you, usually, the explicitness of, like, this is what's happening, but you pick up the vibes, kind of like, I know a storm is coming, even though I don't see lightning. Right? I know a storm is coming. I can smell it. Something's up here. Well, that's how you base all of your relationships, right? And then it falls apart later in life, and everybody's heartbroken, and there's hurt feelings, and there's all these questions. Well, did you ever love me in the first place? All of that, right?
Been there.
Yeah, and it's very much one of those things of like, again, having compassion and continuing to create that space to say, why don't we just take like a lot of steps back and allow people to like really define themselves, including how you want to define yourself if you're LGBTQIA+, or if you're hetero or something else. I'm going to let you define that. How you define yourself as a man.
Yeah.
Oh my God. In the middle of this rant. Oh my God, the rantiest episode ever. I hate, underline it, highlight it, put some glitter on it, and some caramel sauce. I hate the bumper sticker, Real Men Love Jesus.
That, my dad had that bumper sticker on his truck for a long time. I think my mom put it on his truck, and he just never took it off.
Look.
But I absolutely hate that.
Real men of genius. That beer commercial. I don't know. Damn.
I think it was a Budweiser commercial, right?
It was something. It was some kind of beer. And it was always like hilarious. But anyway, I think of that though. It's like, who the hell are you to define somebody as a real man or not? Like, what the hell is even that? Like what? And then like, real men love Jesus. Well, what does it mean to love Jesus? Like, we really get into all that. And it's like, back to marketing, right? It's a great marketing thing, but it's so incorrect. It's like the Punisher
The
thing.
police Punisher.
Well, the Punisher just in general, like, yeah, now it's been like taken over and like it has the all the things, right?
The blue light.
And it's
blue
like,
line.
yeah, it's the messaging is powerful. and people are gathering towards it. And it's like, actually, you guys, you have the character completely wrong, and he would
It's
actually be
literally
against
the
you.
opposite. And also in the comics, not is it just like contextually against police. He physically says like, I hate that cops are doing this. That's why he changed his logo in the comics.
Right.
I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know
Punisher
that.
changed his logo in the comics because he was tired of police banding together under his logo. He's like, look, the reason I took this on is because you're not doing your job. And now you're not doing your job even worse. Like, stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
All that to say. All right, we're going to wrap this up with two more questions. First one, what makes you happiest about Pride Month? Like something physical that happens during Pride, an emotional reaction. Is it just the fact that it exists?
I like the conversations that happen. The good ones and the bad ones, the memories. I think for me, Pride Month is kind of like the terrible, very depressing, sad Christmas movie. It's a Wonderful Life, where it's just like, this is terrible.
Hey,
because
man, I watch that movie every year.
Jesus. Help me, God. I refuse. I like my dopamine. So, because every Pride Month, there's people that I think love me and that I love, and they change their profile picture on social media to something really homophobic. Or, you know, they say stupid things, and it's like, oh my God. Like, I go back to, like, I'm not safe, right? And it's like, I was telling my mom about that. I don't remember what we were talking about, but it's like, I have to prejudge everything. I have to think about the risks associated with everything I say and everything I do. I learned how to code switch for different reasons than most people. Most people code switch because of race stuff, right?
Yep.
That's
why I do it.
I code switch so I didn't get my ass beat, right? It's like, I need to figure out who I could be around and whatnot. And I saw this TikTok the other day that said, and it was great. I was like, that's the tea. Like, that really is the tea. She said, this black woman said, I have a question for all the gay men out there. Was it exactly at the moment that you came out the closet that the spirit of a black woman entered your body? Because I have never met a gay man that did not sound like me, right? And I was like, damn, there's a lot of work to do there, and it's multi-layered. I say that knowing good and damn well what I sound like, but anyway. And it goes with the code switching stuff and, like, where I feel safe, right? And it's like, well, all of my friends growing up were black girls. It was just all my friends. But that also goes to, like, who we are as a culture. So much of gay culture has been stolen from black women, especially black trans women. And so there's a lot of, it's not just misappropriation, it's just straight culture vulture that happens, right? And you see that in drag, you see that in all these different areas. And then you say all of those things that come from black trans women while being transphobic and while being racist.
Right. Yeah.
Don't get me started.
I mean, it's one of those things, like, obviously there's the cultural appropriation aspect of it, but at the same time, gay people are treated like racial minorities anyway.
So,
regardless of their race, like, and gay people of different races on top of that are treated even worse. But like the code switching, the pre-checking your safe spaces before you get there, like knowing what you can and cannot do in certain areas, like all of that stuff just speaks to the lack of power that each community has.
Yeah.
So, big giant asterisk. If you, as a gay person, present as a normative expression of the gender, so like if you present as a masculine male, then it's easier for you to come out of the closet. It's easier for you to have community. You're more accepted because you're not really like creating this rift of like, well, what does that look like? Because people have a really easy time still identifying you as a man, right? It goes back to the, like you just said, the power structure kind of stuff. But, you know, everybody that I know says, like, oh my God, you came out in a glass closet. Like, everybody else already knew that you was gay anyway. Who'd you think you was fooling?
It's like you were in the closet, man, but we could all see.
Right.
The door was wide open.
I was like, did you know we could see you? You could.
That's like one of my favorite TikTok moments is when gay creators like tell about the moment they came out and all of their friends are like, yeah, we knew.
Yeah.
It's like, when did you know? Well, it was probably when you shaved your head. Yeah.
No, did you see the one that said, me in the early 2000s, my mom buying me my 5th pair of skinny jeans, of colored skinny jeans. And she's handing him these red skinny jeans. She says, are you homosexual? He's like, what? Are you homosexual? That's a yes. You're like, oh my God.
I did see one recently. This Jamaican guy was at his auntie's house for dinner or something, and he brought his boyfriend. And they're like, oh, so how much food does your friend want? And he was like, I've been meaning to tell you about that, aunties. Victor isn't just my friend. He's my boyfriend. And they're like, you're gay? You're a homosexual? Oh, thank God. You know, we knew for a long time. We were just waiting for you to finally tell us. Like, love is love. We don't really care. So how much chicken does he want? He's like, oh, we're actually vegan. And then they like chase him out of the house, yelling and cussing at him.
Because that's the problem.
The problem is he was vegan, yeah. All right.
I love it.
We do need to wrap this up real quick. So last question for you, Maddie. What queer stereotypes do you love and or hate?
I don't know that I love any queer stereotypes because I think stereotypes are a fast, cheap way of trying to understand people. And it's a really wide brush. So like think of, I'm going to take this to race. And pardon my white self for saying anything about black folks because I can't speak on being black. But, you know, there's a stereotype of all black people know how to dance. Well, what do you do if you can't dance and you're black? Right? Suddenly you feel alone and just like outed. This comedian said that, it was a joke. She said, I hate gay men because I used to think that I liked dick. And then I heard a gay man talk about dick and I realized I was just like okay with dick. And they talk about dick like, you know, and I'm like, but what do you do if you don't, but you identify as a gay man, right? And and like you find yourself in these moments where you're like, so to be gay, I need the following things, but I only like one of those. What does that make me?
Makes it difficult.
I think the stereotypes are cheap. The thing that I dislike, I think like the gay agenda thing, right? Where it's like, there's this weird thing of like, and it is honest to God, people really do think like gay people are trying to take over the world.
I've been meaning to ask, what is the gay agenda? Where can I find one?
It's brunch, okay?
It's brunch. It's always brunch.
It's brunch, and we're going to show up late, okay? The gay agenda's
So
not...
lunch then.
Right.
No, we're still calling it brunch.
We're still calling it brunch.
Calling it brunch. It's just at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny because it's like, that is a stereotype is that gay people are late. And like, so there's gay late and then there's drag queen late. And it's a big difference. So yeah, the gay agenda, right? It's like, what? That gets into the white flight kind of BS.
We just want to live.
Yeah. It's like, damn, I want the market to crash so I can buy a home like everybody else.
That's what I'm waiting on.
Right.
Gay or not.
Bruh. I'm like, man, I see them prices falling. I read an article the other day about the market crashing. I was like, thank you, Jesus. Let the economy feel, God. Come on. Won't he do it?
But when we live, we die.
I love it. Yeah, I even think like the stereotypes of like gay people being happy, liberal, and beautiful. It's BS and it's harmful, right? Because then you also get into the thing of like, only people who fit the demographic are welcomed.
Right.
And so, like, we need to support people who don't look whatever is marketable. We need to support people of all different body sizes, all different levels of melanation, all different health aspects.
It's like all the commercials now that are showing gay families. You're like, okay, cool, gay representation, but they're all 6 foot and gorgeous. Like they all look like they walked out of some kind of genetic experiment. Like
I want to support gay sluts. Right. and I mean, it's honest to God truth, right? Where it's like, hey, I want to affirm you. And like, if you want to be promiscuous, by all means, I think you should know some things.
Be careful, at
right?
least.
So, and like when people talk about coming out advice, that's the coming out advice is have a healthcare provider and find a mentor that you can talk to not only about gay stuff, but just about like life. Like, dude, what are you doing professionally, educationally, living situation kind of stuff? Like, what do you want? You want to go and be promiscuous? Hey, there's some stuff you should know, right? Like the videos that you watched in high school health class sucked. And if you live in the South, you probably didn't get to watch the videos.
None.
So let's talk about some things. That's the tea.
All right.
That's the tea with Matti.
Yeah, that's
Here
cute.
for it. All right, Matti. So we're going to go ahead and close out the interview. If you don't mind, can we find you on social medias? Do you have any published writings? Anything we can look up to see a little bit more about you?
Once upon a time, I had published stuff from the Ooze, but I don't know if the Ooze even exists anymore. It sounds nasty. It was not nasty. It was like this really interesting Christian publishing thing.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Right now, I don't have any published stuff, but there might be some published things coming to you soon.
Ooh,
Groovy.
we'll keep an eye out.
Love to hear it.
All
Okay.
right.
Hey, go check out your local poetry scene and your local drag queen scene.
Yeah, I love poetry, so I'm all about that.
You know, I've never been to a drag show, but I've
Really?
been places where drag queens congregated, like after a show, like restaurants and things like that. No,
So-
it was
so
a
you've
real fun
been-
experience.
So you've been to an IHOP or a Whataburger?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will definitely check out a drag show coming soon.
There's a great
fun.
new drag show that's happening in Austin off of North Lamar at a really great place called Scissor Sisters. And the show is called Glam Chowder. It's amazing.
I'm in.
And so I would really recommend looking up Lana Dahmer. I think it's LanaDahmer. Those are two names, like, first and last. And I think their tag is at the Lana Dahmer. And the other one is Marley Bell. And it might be at Marley Bell. I don't know. But look up Glam Chowder. If you want to find me on social media, good luck, because I'm hidden because I don't feel safe in the community. So if you want to find me on social media, support me, speak up, and vote, and maybe you can find me someday.
I love
Period.
that. All right.
Love to
Well,
hear
thank
it.
you so much for being here, Matti. We really appreciate it.
You're wonderful.
That's iced coffee clinkies. That's how I
We
applaud.
can hear it. We can hear it. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the finale of the episode. You know what it is. We will see you in a little bit.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Thank you so much, Matti, for that conversation. It was delightful. Are you okay there?
Yeah, sorry, I was going to go get a drink, and then I was like, yeah, I can wait.
Okay.
I thought you had a beverage.
I finished it. I need another.
Oh, Christopher.
man.
I'm a bevy girl, man.
Bevy girl?
Yeah, you never heard the term?
No.
Bevy girl? Like, I need a beverage of some sort at all points in time. It doesn't have to be alcoholic necessarily, but it's got to be a beverage. Not just water. Like, I got to have like a tea. I got to have a sparkling water. I got to have some kind of mocktail, cocktail, beer. Doesn't matter. I just need something at all times. Like,
It's real.
I don't
it's
know
real
if you've
queer
ever-
of you to say.
you know what? It is what it is. I don't know if you've ever like paid attention, Tim, in our entire friendship, but I've always got like bare minimum 3 different cups or cans of something in my car
Yeah.
at all times.
That's true.
That's why. I'm a bevy girl.
Well, that's how we know that you didn't like the hot tea because you had tea left in your car. Remember the conversation a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I still never got a call back from them, by the way. They said they were going to call back, and they never did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Arizona.
It keeps happening. Like, they say they're going to call, and
For
they never
shame.
did.
Well, anyways, thank you again, Maddie, for that conversation. I really hope, I know you all would have enjoyed it. But we're about to move along into, okay, so here's what happened. Chris, he apparently he's more popular than I am.
What?
Because I've asked my friends on the internet for questions for the show, and I get usually little response. It's fine. People are busy. People are doing their lives.
It's
okay.
not that I'm more popular. It's that I live my life in a way that makes people feel like they owe me. So when I light the beacons, Gondor calls for aid. Rohan always answers.
Well, it's the way you phrase it too. It's like a threat because you're like, if you don't give us any questions, we're just going to make some up and put some random names to it.
Yeah,
I'm going to make you feel guilty.
Well, whatever the case is, it worked because we got a lot of questions, an abundance of questions, and there's no way we're going to get through all of them. We're going to do 3 today, and if you keep listening, you will hear it eventually because we will use them.
There was too many.
That's
also a cheap ploy to get you to listen to more episodes. If your question wasn't listed,
Keep listening.
keep listening.
Just
We will
tune
use
in
it.
next
Come
one.
back next week.
We'll use it eventually.
So this is the part of the show where we answer your questions. And don't forget that we have the new Always More hotline where you can leave a voicemail question at 254-218-4042.
Again, that is 254-218-4042.
All right, let's get to the first question. We have 2 questions what was that?
I was trying to put the number in my hands.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. It was enough time for me to get my bevy.
Bevy.
All right. We have a question from Jessica Bella. She asked, what is the perfect thermostat temperature?
First off, let me say that she is from New York. I met her in Florida working at Disney. She's one of my Disney people.
Oh, cool.
Hi, Disney.
I don't know what her perfect temperature would be, but since she's from New York, I'm assuming it is nowhere near what ours would be here in Texas.
Well,
Really?
I might actually be contradiction to you. What do you say? Like, okay, and it depends on the season too.
Nope.
No?
No, when
Really?
I'm inside,
I have a range.
it can't be a range. It's got to be
No,
one.
No,
no,
sorry,
no.
it's got to be a range.
Now
One
here's the reasoning behind the
No.
temperature I'm going to give you, because I get headaches when my head gets cold.
What?
I do.
Wear a hat.
I do that, but it doesn't help all
You've
the
never
time.
heard of hats before?
I wear hats all the time.
Yeah, like all the time.
So
I don't think I've rarely seen him without it.
so like if it's a bad day and like I'm going to bed and Jessica has the fan up top going, sometimes I'll have to put on a hoodie, like a beanie, like on my head because it gets hot or it gets cold and I get a headache. It's just how it is. So
So you get brain freezes?
yes, yes,
From the outside?
both. No,
It's like
not
he's like a
outside.
plant.
What's wrong with your bones?
He photosynthesizes the cold.
That's what it is.
So I say that because my temperature that I'm usually most comfortable at when I'm not doing a lot of stuff in the house is like a good 74, 75.
That's too much.
That's me. Like I'm good with that.
No,
As
honestly,
long as I'm not cleaning and doing things, if I'm just chilling out, talking, having conversations, playing games, 74, 75.
I say that, but my perfect temperature for the house is 73.
Really?
Oh, mine's like 72. I'd pick 72.
We keep it at 75 right now because it's like crazy hot outside, but
Yeah.
we're just trying to be responsible with our energy, I guess, according to ERCOT. We keep it at 75, but ideally I would keep it at 73, unless it's the heater. If the heater's on, I keep it at 68.
Ooh, I didn't think about that one. For the heater, that's a good question.
Why are both on simultaneously?
No, not
Like in the winter.
simultaneously. Like if you turn the heater on during the winter,
Yeah.
the temperature you can set it to so that it gets up to that temperature or not below that temperature. I set it at 68, so it doesn't go colder than 68.
Oh.
I think I'm around there too. I'm trying to remember.
See,
what
that's
we were
why I
doing
was
in
trying
the
to say
winter.
a range. I was going to be like
one
68.
for the heater, one for the
One for
AC.
summer, one for winter.
Okay, well then like
That's a good range.
69, 72.
Nice.
Nice.
I think.
Yeah, I'm probably the higher 60s.
Yeah. 68, 69
Yeah.
for heat and 73 for AC.
Look,
Like if I have a fan, I'm fine.
well, see, and that's the thing. Like, I'm okay with fans, and I'm okay with like like blankets. Like if you're really hot or cold, maybe it's just me because I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm a dad and I just don't want to waste money.
Yeah.
But
Tim's the kind of dad that like follows you after you exit a room and he flips the light switch off.
Truthfully, me too.
He's like, close the door. You're letting the heat
I've
out.
become that dad.
I'm not even paying the bills these days, but still, it's just kind of one of those things, you know?
I've become that dad. I do pay the bills.
He said, be considerate of your mother.
My electric
Jim
bill
is like,
this month,
"Ah."
my electric bill this month was $400, guys.
Oh.
Over $400.
Oh, your contract went up before all this happened, didn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, mine's ending in July.
How is that even possible?
My wife actually handles the electricity, so I don't really know. I just know that it
It went up because of Russia and everything. Yeah.
I have no idea.
God.
Which doesn't make sense because we're on an independent electric grid anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate Texas.
Yep.
All right, moving on.
I hate it here.
Great question, Jessica. Thank you. Vanessa Kale asked, does spaghetti go on hot dogs?
I say yes.
I agree.
Yep.
I think we're all on a consensus here, but it depends on how fancy you want to be. Because if I go to like North in Austin and I sit down for like a nice sit down Italian dinner and they put hot dogs on my spaghetti, I'm going to be a little upset.
Why would you order a hot dog?
But
No, it's not reverse.
No.
It's spaghetti on the hot
Spaghetti
dog.
on the hot
spaghetti
dog.
on the hot dog?
On the bun.
Oh,
Wait,
like if I go buy a hot dog and I put spaghetti on it?
you know what? This is a question. This is not clarified in the question.
She said hot dogs.
I'm assuming.
So I think of hot dogs. I think of a hot dog and a bun.
Okay, so let's say it this way.
Oh,
I
okay.
would put spaghetti on a hot dog and
Right.
call it delicious.
Yes.
I would not put hot
Dogs
dogs
on
on spaghetti
spaghetti.
and call it fancy, but still delicious.
Okay, what
Okay.
about spaghetti on a hot dog bun? Just
Yes,
that.
absolutely. It's bread.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
No, it's a taco.
especially if it's
spaghetti taco.
Yeah.
especially if it's garlic hot dog bun.
Yes.
Ooh.
Like, see, I'm okay
like a
with this.
garlic.
This is
bread
something that
cut into a
Rhett
bun.
and Link need to do on their show. I feel like they could
That's
do
something
this.
we need to do. We
Yeah.
have a podcast.
But see,
we can do this.
my logic here lies in the fact that I've put hot dogs cut up in spaghetti
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
And I'm like, this smacks.
I would do it
But
for
I-
my family or myself. I wouldn't serve it as
Right.
like a fancy meal.
No.
Well, that's
no,
not the question, though.
That's not what it's saying.
Yeah, that's fine then.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
And
yes.
then also you take bread, whatever bread you have when you're eating spaghetti, and I always make a sandwich. Always, every time, without fail. I'll put that spaghetti on that bread, and
Yeah.
I'm calling it a day. So, it's the same concept. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So,
All right.
to answer your question, Vanessa, yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Always
100%.
always more approved.
100%.
It
Oh,
does
that's
not,
a new segment. That's what we're doing. Always more approved.
I like it. We need to make a stamp.
I'm into it.
Yes.
But see, my thing is, it does not always go on hot dogs, but it can go on hot dogs. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving along, guys. I'm excited about this one. I saw it.
I
I
am
actually
not.
brought it. I'm
I-
a little concerned.
I'm not. I don't want
I
it.
Chris,
did.
I'm coming to you, buddy. So here's what's going to happen, guys.
Did you bring?
What do you have in there, buddy? Oh, do you actually bring some extra underwear just
I
in
brought
case?
extra underwear just in case. Let's
Okay.
do this. Let's
so
go.
Jessica,
I also have extra shorts in the car.
Jessica Hawksworth said, "Okay, hear me out. Brown note." So she quoted something. The science behind the infamous brown note is a sound frequency so low that its resonance through the human body causes spontaneous, uncontrollable pooping. And they said it's thankfully no more than a legend. She says, I don't think it's a legend. The science behind this would be wonderful to discuss. So should we try it out before I read some of the articles that I found?
No, I think I need further explanation on what's going on here.
Okay, so,
let me say I saw a post about this. Looking it up, that these two guys, first I think they were in 6th or 7th grade. They decided that they were going to try this out because they had heard about it. So they were blowing trumpets in each other's faces and crapping their pants. And then come to find out, like, it wasn't a real thing. Science disproved it already. And he was like, so I guess we both just liked crapping our pants? Like, I don't know what the deal was.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, you're not going to get this on. This note is a low frequency note. Like, I'm talking about like whale call kind of low. So I'm not going to hit it today, but I'm going to try. But you're going to need like a really deep instrument to get to it. Like
A bass
like
trombone.
a tuba. Yeah, at least.
I feel like a
Actually, I didn't even look it up.
stringed instrument could hit it deeper than a
Oh,
on a brass instrument.
maybe on a piano or something. But like,
I feel like a cello could really hit that.
I don't know. I don't think so because the size of the string determines the frequency of the.
But if you just,
I'm
Just a
thinking
little-
it's got to be like computer generated.
yeah.
well,
Like,
probably.
there's
But
no
if it
way
were
to
to
do it.
occur on an actual instrument,
See, and that's the thing.
I'm
Is I don't know if
thinking there's no way to
the
do it
only
on an
the
actual
only instrument I can think of that could do that maybe is a tuba or, what is that? The Australian.
Didgeridoo.
Yeah, maybe that.
Right.
But look, we would not be always more if we didn't at least try it out. So I brought my trombone.
Because you're extra. Go on.
And I wanted to what I'm thinking about doing. Now, granted, you won't be able to see this happening unless you're watching us on YouTube. Hello, but I'm gonna get behind Chris with my trombone, and I'm gonna direct it towards his ass, and we're gonna see if something happens.
I think you'd have to direct it towards my ears.
yeah, it has to
Because
reverberate
why
throughout
would-
the body.
Why would you make a sound frequency?
because it's supposed to mess with your bowels, not your ears.
Are you sure?
No, but we can try both. It's a science experiment.
All right.
All right. So
Play that sweet, sweet music to my bowels, Tim. Things Jess has said before.
For context, she's sitting across a room, shaking her head no.
Disapprovingly.
Where should I do this? Should I get behind you?
Yeah.
Things Tim has said to Jess before.
Ah!
All right.
All right, let's try this. Let's go.
You're the commentator because you're not gonna be able to hear me.
I'm
I
not.
think I can-
I think I will.
They won't be able to hear me.
Oh, they won't be able. Yeah, because they're not.
Are you sure? I feel like I can hear
They're
you.
not the omnidirectional
So I'm
mics.
gonna start high and see how low I can go.
I'm scared I'm about to shit my
I haven't
pants.
played this in like 10 years. So.
I was gonna say, when was the last time you even played the tuba, Tim?
He's about to break your eardrums.
So hard to go slow.
It sounds like shit, if that's what you're trying to get at.
Yeah, it sounds like I crap myself. It's just like,
It takes so much air to go that low.
it feels like passive aggressive growling from a large animal. That like it's behind me, but it's not gonna eat me. It's just like, I'm in line. Will you move? Like that's the vibe I'm getting right now.
Do you feel any vibrations, like any kind of
In my
sensation?
bowels, no, nothing.
Oh, let me go lower.
It sounds like sitting on a whoopee cushion. Is what it
Like one of the big whoopee cushions. Yeah,
As low as I can go, guys.
I got no rumbling in my tummy.
that only hands
Like I
can
said, man.
satisfy.
Like I said, man, I'm pretty sure it's got to be computer generated.
Yeah,
to get
I
that
tried.
low.
I tried.
So you're telling me there was a couple kids just...
Yeah,
And the trumpet, you can't get that low. So that's even funnier about this.
I want to say they were like, dude, I feel like one of them either laughed so hard they probably like,
Right.
shit themselves a little bit. And he was like, dude, it worked. And he was like, I have to do it now. It's like, we have to keep this going. You know how kids are?
middle school boys
Yes.
are literally the worst.
Okay, so here's an article from Jack Cummings at Vice.com. He said, quote, "So where do the myths about the brown noise come from? The internet has helped rumors spread faster than
Hey,
ever
you're
before."
supposed to read this in a British accent.
I'm
remember?
not doing it.
You gotta. At least the next sentence. Just the rest of the sentence. then.
Ancestral articles are regularly shared as fact on Facebook, but Leventhal believed the idea of the brown noise first originated from a spoof article in the New Scientist from over 40 years ago.
Hey, we got
was great.
We got David Attenborough over here.
That's what he said.
So earlier we
were
were just joking.
practicing.
Yeah, before you got here, we were just joking around. I started doing that. And I was like, man, I wish David Attenborough was there. I wish I had his voice. Man, look at that. Look at that. All right, so Cummings.
Same brain cell.
Same.
We actually share one back and forth.
They trade off each
much
week.
like the boys who were crapping their pants.
Oh, plot twist, you are the boys.
It's back when we were in 6th grade.
Chris is like, how did you find out?
Fun fact, we met in 7th grade, so yeah,
Oh,
wasn't us.
sad.
Probably somebody we knew, though.
All right. Cummings also wrote, there haven't been any proper scientific test on brown noise. So, guys, as far as I'm concerned, now granted,
That's
we're
so
no
plausible.
scientist. Well, not only that, but this was the first time we've given it.
I was going to say, we definitely just
scientists.
tried a scientific experiment using the scientific method. Therefore, we are scientists.
Wow,
There you
all
go.
those years of schooling really paid off. Oh my God.
Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
I tell you what.
Although I found out recently that science proved that to be wrong too.
Yeah.
Everything I know is a lie.
That's all I remember from school, and it's wrong. It's horribly
Pythagorean
wrong.
theorem. Oh,
Never used that in my life.
no. Right.
All right, so this guy, Dr. Jeff Levenhall, he is a scientist who actually studies the noise vibrations and is invested in low-frequency sounds. So anyways, here's another quote from Dr. Matthew Wright, who is a senior lecturer in acoustics at the University of Southampton. He said, the idea that there is a frequency that your body may respond a bit more and a bit less to might be true, but the idea that there is a magical frequency where astounding things happen is wishful thinking. There's no particular reason why the bowels would respond differently than any other part of your body. What do you have there?
Nope.
You just play something off the internet?
No.
No.
Nope.
No.
My wife just sent me a text, and
It's great.
I need to leave. So let's wrap this up.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. That was it. That was our question. I think we answered the question.
We were not successful, but it's still plausible.
But it's possible.
If you
the
would like-
science is out there.
yeah.
Try it, guys. Send us a video.
Please don't send me a video of you crapping. That is the last thing I want.
I feel like another way that it could be attained is through bass.
Well, yeah. What are you talking about?
No,
No,
just
like
like
a
the
bass-
bass vibrations
Oh,
from like a massive
Because I've sat on like what are they
Now-
called? Subwoofer?
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what low frequency is, though.
and
Now,
I felt it.
that being
rock
the
my
case,
soul.
if we're talking about that, I have had to poop after like a long concert or something.
So much vibrations, yeah.
Like I haven't like crapped my pants, but I've been like, all right, that concert was great. Let me go find a bathroom.
Right.
What we need
That's
to
not
do,
at this venue because all venue bathrooms are disgusting.
what we can do is we can put some like speakers on a chair and then play those notes and see what happens then.
Sounds horrifying. You can be the test dummy. I'll let you go
All
ahead.
right, we'll try it out.
Okay.
You know what? I'm just gonna plug a local business here, Rocksteady Health or Rock Solid Health, something like that, in Harker Heights. They do hydrocolonics,
Oh, okay.
and it's an experience.
All right.
Does that clean out your colon?
Oh yeah,
I bet it does.
not just your colon. It gets into the intestines.
Oh, okay. Let's go ahead. Final thoughts.
That's a wrap up this show, guys. Final thoughts about
Final thoughts. Pride Month is important.
Yes.
Yeah.
It needs to be celebrated a lot more than it already is. Rainbow capitalism is the worst, so make sure that you are sourcing your gay merch.
Your
from-
game merch.
Yeah.
What a way to put that.
I mean, yeah.
That's what it is. So make sure you're sourcing that responsibly and go get a hydrocolonic.
I don't think that's what I would have concluded from this episode, but sure.
Thank you all for joining us on this wonderful episode of Pride. A lot of Pride things this episode. So thank you. Thank you again,
We're
Maddie.
so proud around here.
We're proud of you. Whether you're in the closet still, whether you are out and proud, or anywhere in between, we're proud of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we love you.
All the love.
Yes. All right. Well, let's end this thing. Thank you all again for listening to our podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and leave a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at AlwaysMorePod. Chris, where can we find you?
I am on Instagram at Captain_CT Ford and TikTok Christopher.Lionheart.
Harley, where we can find you?
On the Instagram, you can find me at WhatHarley, WUT Harley, and on the Clock app at harleybean.co.
And then you can find me on all the social media platforms at Timothy Lichty. That's Liechty. Thank you again for listening and for being a part of the conversation. And remember, there is always more than this. Goodbye, everybody.
Happy Pride.
Thank you for listening to the Always More podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, share, like, and rate on whatever your platform of preference is. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Always More Pod. If you'd like to submit a question, you can ask us on any of our social media platforms, or you can leave us a voicemail at 254-218-4042. If you'd like to feed into our caffeine addiction as well as support the podcast financially, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/alwaysmorepod. For further information and to contact us, you can email us at alwaysmorepodcast@gmail.com.